Hi, my name is Hunter, and this is my presentation of learning. So my story starts off with a girl named Katie, and Katie wants to climb Mount Everest, and she's wanted to since she was a little girl. And one day she opened her mailbox, and there was a letter in it, and she opened the letter, and the letter is from a sponsorship company that said that she could create a multimedia presentation and enter it into a competition, and she could win a chance to climb Mount Everest. And so she decided to create one with digital, artistic, written, and spoken mediums in it, and this connects to the learner profile. Communicate effectively using multiple mediums, spoken, written, artistic, and digital, because she used all of these to communicate how much she really wanted to go on this hike, and she won. This connects to my Native American project, because we use all of those mediums in order to communicate our learning and to communicate how the way that Americans live affects the Native Americans and how they're not able to attain the American dream. And this is our poster. And the spoken aspect of this is that we had to present it to parents. The digital is that we had to make it on Adobe Illustrator, which is on an iPad. The creativity is from the fact that we had to be able to create this without using many words, and also to make the parents understand our point. And the written is that we had to write an essay about it. Some successes that I had in this were that I think that it turned out really well, and I'm happy with it. Some challenges are that it's really hard for me to be creative when I'm using multiple mediums, and that's something that I've tried to get better at throughout the year. And what I learned is that when you include multiple mediums in your presentations, it's a lot more interesting. So Katie won her sponsorship, but in order to climb Mount Everest, she had to do some community service. So she decided that she wanted to save the penguins in Nepal because they're being poached and they're also endangered. And she wanted to nurture, sustain, and steward the environment in which we live, which is my second learner profile. And even though she doesn't live in Nepal, she's still helping to maintain the ecosystem by keeping the penguin population at a good level so that the ecosystem doesn't get weird. And this connects to my zoo banner thing, because even though I wasn't physically in the world helping to nurture, sustain, and steward it, I second-handedly did that by creating a banner that gave creative solutions to people and encouraged them to make a difference and to try to help the earth. And by doing this, more people would be able to nurture, sustain, and steward the environment. This is what it looks like. Ours was about plastic and birds. Some successes that I had is that I got to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator because I hadn't known how to do that before, so I learned a new skill. Some challenges are that it's difficult to include emotion into a poster like this because there's no pictures, so you only have to use your words, so it's hard to make people really care. And what I learned is that you can help nurture, sustain, and steward the environment in many different ways. You don't actually have to go to the earth and pick up a piece of trash. So Katie wanted to climb Mount Everest since she was little, but she was poor, so she couldn't take mountain climbing lessons. But then she turned 20 and she was able to, so she started and she went every day. But then she was the worst in her class and she was terrible and she sucked. But then the second year she fell down the mountain and broke all of her bones, all of them, and most people would give up. But Katie maintained a positive mindset and belief in the value of persistence in learning, which is my third learner profile. And she was positive that she would get better and persistent because she went back to mountain climbing practice every single day after that. And eventually she got better and she was able to climb Mount Everest. And this connects to my reading annotations because in the beginning of the year I wasn't great at them and I wouldn't look deep enough into a book. And I was really only doing the requirements, which was 3. But I started off with like a B, and then I was positive and persistent that I was going to get better. And I was persistent because every single chapter that we read, I tried my hardest to get better at them. And eventually I did, and I ended up with A's and A minuses up here because I was persistent and positive that I was going to get better at them. I did get better at them. And a success is that my grade went up because I was positive and persistent. Some challenges are that it's hard for me as a person to get past the mindset that I'm bad at something in order to improve. And what I learned is that if you're positive and persistent, that you can get better at most things. And I also learned that most books have like underlying themes and like things that you have to look for in the book. Katie climbed the mountain and she was successful. And when she was climbing down the mountain, her and her 5 other friends that all won the sponsorship too, they were reflecting on how they worked together, collaborated to climb this mountain, and it was all of their dreams. And now that they're done with this experience, they've all changed as people because they collaborated with and positively impacted global peers, which is my 4th learner profile, because they all worked together to climb this mountain, and now they all came out more positive, more persistent. They don't give up as easily, and they're more sure of themselves. This relates to our fish pond field trip that we went on because we helped local peers. We collaborated with them and positively impacted the fish pond, its staff, and its ecosystem because we actually went in the fish pond and helped roll rocks and do the fish stuff. And a success was that because we were collaborating, we really got to see how what we were doing was actually really affecting it and helping it out. So we got to see our work. And some challenges are that manual labor is kind of hard. So that was a challenge. And what I learned is that when you collaborate with people, things get done a lot faster than if you just do it by yourself. And the last part of Katie's story is that the sponsorship she had required her to create a video of her climb, a documentary of her climb up and down the mountain. And Katie decided that she wanted to build social emotional awareness and empathy in an increasingly interconnected world, which is my 5th learner profile, by adding a part in the beginning about the penguins to make people aware, and hopefully they empathize with the penguins and the people in Nepal and maybe want to help them. And that was her choice to do that. She didn't have to. And she did that in order to help them. And she did it. She put it in the video and didn't write an essay about it because she was going to be publishing this video on a well-known website. And since the world is becoming more interconnected and more people are on the internet, she thought it would be the best platform to get the most people to listen to it. This relates to our Wood Cooking podcast because we use the podcast technology to spread information to an interconnected world because more and more people are using podcasts to talk and people are listening to them. And we wanted to get people to care about the Hawaiian traditional canoes and koa wood and how their traditions are kind of being changed and the koa wood's becoming less available. And a success from this is that I got to learn how to make a podcast. I've never done that before, and it was a new medium for me. A challenge is that it's hard to put emotion and make people feel empathy about a topic that isn't super interesting like wood. And what I learned is that when you put empathy and emotion into your project, it makes people care about it more. Thank you. And even though I haven't mastered any of these learner profiles yet, I continue to work on them every day, and I hope to get better next year. Thank you.